2, 1. Oh, what is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and sorry, I had my headphones mixed up. So today we got another deck profile, and it is Madolche. Yes, Madolche. A deck that has been seeing some various play within the community, and oh my god, I am so happy to hear how good Madolches have been doing. They've been here, they've been there. Madolches are a force to be reckoned with, and they have such an amazing build to them where you literally can build practically anything with Madolche. And it does just extremely well because Madolche has such a great lineup of things. So, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go through the Madolches themselves, and then I'm going to do my deck profile, and then I'm going to go through some of the options and some of the choices and stuff. So, let's start off with the monster lineup. 2 copies of Madolche Madolche, 3 copies of Madolche Pudding Sessa, 2 copies of Madolche Angeli, 2 copies of Madolche Hoot Cake, 2 copies of Mission Gelato, 2 copies of Madolche Mufilo, and 1 copy of Madolche Pudding Cess. For the hand traps, 3 copies of Ash and 3 copies of Valor. For the spell cards, 3 copies of Madolche Salon, 2 copies of Madolche Chateau, 1 copy of Madolche Ticket, 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity, 2 copies of Double Summon, 1 Harpie Sweater Duster, 1 Monster Reborn. And then for the trap cards, because I forget to put these in order, 3 copies of Madolche Parmamade and 3 copies of Infinity Impermanence. For the trap card, for the extra deck, 2 copies of Madolche Pudding Cess Chocolate Mode, 2 copies of Madolche Queen Tiara Masu, 2 copies of Madolche Teacher Glass Souffle, 2 copies of Madolche Fresh Sis Tart, 1 copy each of good lineup of Link monsters. Access Code Talker, Celine the Queen of Master Magician, Nightmare Unicorn, Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Cerberus, Hockey Fibrex, and IP Masquerena. So, that is your lineup for my Madolche deck. So, Madolche. The build. Your build can be anything at this point. It can be a massive critique of, oh my god. You know why? Because Madolches have access to this amazing spell card, Madolche Salon, which gives you an additional normal summon of a Madolche monster in addition to your normal summon or set. So, if you combine a card like this with a card like Double Summon, you get a ton of additional summons this turn. And it is so good. Mind you, this is an additional normal summon off of not only a normal spell, but a spell card of the particular archetype. This is awesome. It is a really good setup for the Madolche monsters. That's why you do see a lot of decks now running multiple copies of Madolche Magellan, and a lot of them playing Madolche Mufilo because of their ability to normal summon. Now, I'm not running triple Mufilo because the build itself is just a great spam type of situation. You can fluctuate it, which is a thing about Madolche. The builds can fluctuate, and you can put in, triple Mufilo, or you can throw in triple Angeli, or triple Hoot Cake, triple this, triple that, and then it still makes the deck flow. And that is the great thing about Madolches. Ever since they were introduced into the game, was their ability to flow. Not just their ability to be adorable as hell, but to be destructive as hell. Don't let that cuteness fool you. So, with that, you got your 3 search of Madolche Magellan. You got a great special summon off of Madolche Pudding Sessa. You can also see that factor in the fact that Madolche Pudding Sessa was a good option in Emancipators when that deck was doing extremely well as well. No shade to Emancipators because that was a great jump for Rock Attribute in RIP Blood Dragon. The 2 copies of Angeli as an additional, fairy monster. So a lot of the additional effects of some Madolche cards can go off. A great Lone Fire Blossom, if anything, for the archetype because she can tribute herself. And then go get cards like Madolche Hoot Cake, who can banish any monster in the grave and then special summon a Madolche monster from the deck. One of its primary targets is Madolche Messenger Gelato, who has the ability to add spells and traps. Cards that have Madolche in their name from your deck to your hand. The only thing about Messenger Gelato is you had to have a beast type Madolche monster face up to activate and resolve its effect, but luckily it's either coming off of Hootcake or it's coming off of Mufilo, who when it's normal summon, you can special summon a Madolche monster from your hand. So you kind of see where this is going. There's so many normal summons, there's so many special summons, and there's so many getting more Madolche monsters onto the field thanks to a lot of the other cards themselves. Madolche putting Sass. Now this may be a one-off. However, Madolche putting Sass has a ton of ways of being special summoned to the board. If it isn't through her sister, Madolche putting Sass and her ability to special summon a Madolche monster and then bump her level by one or reduce the level of the monster she brings out by one, it is a simple way to get into cards like Madolche, your extra deck, especially when it comes to your cards like Madolche putting Sass Chocolate mode. Now you can run an additional pudding size if you feel like it, but with the way this deck recycles its Madolche monsters, it's not you're not gonna have to do so much of the effort. And Madolche pudding says Chocolate mode. I'll get to her when I get to the extra deck. She's just as good too. The Ash Blossoms and the Effect Veilers are your hand traps of choice. Don't let hand traps hurt you. You have Hootcake. You'll be fine. Now, with that said and done, let's go on to the spells. You have the brokenness that is Madolche Salon, which I've already stated. You also have its other additional broken effect that if I do believe that if another Madolche card you control would go to the graveyard or shuffle in the deck, you have the ability to set a Madolche Spell card directly from your deck to the board. So you can set a card like Madolche Harmony, which is a great addition to it. If this was a counter trap like Madolche Knights, oh my god, this card would be just super broken. It really would. It'd be extremely, extremely broken with so many advances to it because it's a really good trap card. And I'll get to it when I get to the trap cards. You got the Field Spell Chateau to, retrieve all your Madolche monsters and send them back to the deck from the graveyard. The 500 additional attack and defense, which you rarely see on a field spell in terms of such an massive amount of attack and defense increase. But for the cost of when your monsters would be returning to the deck doing Madolche monsters effect, they can go to your hand instead. This does not include the extra deck monsters, sadly enough. Also, the same thing with Madolche Ticket, because that says only main deck as well. And it's also a one-of because you can search and retrieve this card with ease, and you practically only need one. I've seen most decks probably just run one Chateau and one Ticket and just try to finish some other spells and drops as well. I was also considering bumping it up to 2 just so that I can at least see it, but then I also remember I have all these cards that can help me get to it, or get to Messenger Lotto to help me get to it as well. The Heart of Prosperities does not hurt the Madolches for the simple fact that Madolches don't have their own draw card to begin with. So, when you have a card like this, it helps circumvent a lot of that energy and that flow of a draw card. Now, if this card is too expensive for your wallet, you can always go back to the Guild Pot of Extravagance, which didn't hurt Madolches either because Madolches just, like I said, they have range to get into a lot of extra monsters. Whether it's their monsters, Link other Exceed monsters, Link monsters, or even Synchro monsters. Pot of Extravagance did not hurt them, and neither does Pot of Prosperity, for the fact that they really don't have any draw outside of what they already do, in terms of the massive amounts of searching, which is their only downside. If cards stop that, you're basically perfectly fine with everything else, and it would not hurt you in terms of using this card. The additional the double summons are there to help in conjunction with the Madolche Salon, and I do not believe there's no negative effects to this as well, so just constantly dropping those normal summons. You have Extender in forms of Monster Reborn, and you have some back removal in the forms of Harpie's Feather Duster. If Feather Duster isn't strong enough for you, look, you got an arsenal of back removal that it can easily be used. Nightmare Phoenix is a good example. Twin Twister, MST, or even play around with some trap cards like Heavy Storm Duster, if anything, because those are just more additional cards to help Madolche if back row becomes an issue for them. Madolche Parmamade, great card. Dealing with the negation of your opponent's card effects, retrieving your Madolche monsters, then having the ability to banish it from your graveyard to target a Madolche Exceed monster. Then put any Madolche monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard to it as material. This is why it's okay to run that one copy of Madolche Pudding Cess, because this helps put that Pudding Cess under specific Exceed monsters. So you have other Exceed monsters, their additional abilities. You have the access to searching for this, you have the access to retrieving this, so you're going to be perfectly fine with Parliament. Then you have Infinity Impermanence, which just is here to act as another effect veiler if it's ever a needed cause. Not to mention it can help shut down your opponent's back row as well. Then we move on to the extra deck. Madolche Pudding says Chocolate a la mode. Being the highest ranked Exceed monster and the one with the most attack and defense, Madolche Chocolate a la mode is just an additional social summoner, which is great for this archetype because of how much it benefits from the normal and social summons of other Madolche monsters. She may not seem too easy as she needs 2 Earth monsters for her summon. However, her get around to this is using your rank 4 or lower Madolche Exceed monsters, and basically it's treated as an Exceed summon. So you get a good search off of her, and then while she has Pudding Cess attached to her as her material, she can detach and then special summon some more Madolche monsters to the board. So yeah, a lot of good synergy with her, a lot of great prosperity with her, and it's just a good monster overall. You have the faithful Queen Madolche, Queen Tiamasu, for some removal as well, in terms of bounce, which is great, and just a quick, easy going too. You have a good defensive game with Madolche Teacher Glace Souffle. I love Glace Souffle in terms of a really good startup. So let's say you do have such a unfortunate hand or some unfortunate things, just go into your last play, set her defense position, and then, stop your opponent from doing things that they can't do. She also has the ability to shuffle cards back into from the graveyard back into the deck, so she has some disruption to her as well. You have some more defense in the form of Madolche Sistar. Madolche Sistar is great for that. She can, while she presents to Madolche monsters, your spells and traps can't be destroyed, which is great because that means your chateaus and your tickets can be destroyed by card effects, and then neither player can target them with card effects, so that's even better. And then if she would be destroyed, you can just shuffle a Madolche monster back into your deck. So yeah, I don't understand why people had so much hate for her when she literally does what a lot of people wanted out of this card in general. Then we have the Link Climbing Brigade. Outside of the Holy Trinity that is the Nightmares, um, Cerberus, Phoenix, and Unicorn. You have the option of Ivy Masquerena to help you get into other Link monsters. Same thing with Halkify Rex, because both of these can help you get into cards like Nightmare Unicorn or Selene, the Queen of Master Magician, where Selene herself can pick up some of your spellcasters, i.e., Madolche Magellan, or she can pick up Effect Veiler and help you go into, of course, Access Code Talker. I didn't have enough room in the side deck to include some additional support cards, but if you can't get your hands on Access Code Talker, in this case, you have Barrel Lord Dragon, Barrel Sword Dragon, Unchained Abomination. You have a lot of other cards you can take utility of when it comes to your rank 4. Your link 4. So don't let not having one particular rank 4 stop you. You got a lot of other ranges there. And then you have your Nightmare engine of Cerberus to deal with monsters, Phoenix to deal with spells and traps, and then you have Unicorn for that good old bounce. Now, the side deck is full of additional cards and support in case, for some options. Let's say you want to add some spice to your life. Well, those shades have a great range. They can easily take advantage of cards like the Kaijus in Nibiru to really screw with your opponent and then go off on their turn. You have access to great Exceeds and Synchro monsters. You can even combine them with cards like Spell Striker. You can banish the double summon this card and go into some Link plays, go into some Synchro plays, go into some Exceed plays. You have access to tuner monsters, especially your Earth attributes. A good example is, of course, Esper Girl, who's an Earth monster. She also be bring out with the cards like emergency teleport. You have, what is it, the recover. You have psychic commander. You have a lot of beast tuners as well that can easily play around with Madolche, so that you can play around with some nasty monsters like Madolche, like Nateria Beast and Nateria Barkion, and not really care what your opponent really has to do at that point, because once you lock them out of their spells and traps, it's pretty much GGEC. Puns. Some other supporting cards: Brigade for the monster removal. You can play around with someone else, like, Call by the Grave. We've already talked about Heart of Extravagance. If you need some additional negation, if you can afford it for your wallet, Forbidden Droplet. I said in the previous video, if you can't get Droplet, go for Call by the Grave. And there's always poor man's version of Forbidden Chalice, if that's ever the case. And then we've already talked about the back row removal cards in the form of Twin Twister, MST, and even Heavy Stormduster. So, that pretty much wraps up the Madolche video here. And I hope you guys enjoy it. I enjoyed going through this with you guys. I enjoyed playing with Madolches. Madolches can be a very amazing deck. It's Madolche. And Madolche is going to be here to stay. Because Madolche is still, it's a great rogue deck. If that is, because that's the term. It's a rogue deck with some great advantages. So, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. You can hit that notification bell to be informed of when I do upload more content. You hit me up on social media, as the links are in the description box below, as well as the Patreon, if you guys want to give a little to help the channel grow. So, that wraps up the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you all next time. HPJ, signing out. Take care.